Hey plant lovers, today we're talking all about aglaonemas. Aglaonemas are really brilliant houseplants. They're very addictive to collect because they come in all these gorgeous exotic colours, yet at the same time they're also super easy to care for and very, very hardy too. The first houseplant is called the Aglaonema matcha lemon. Although this plant is rare, as I mentioned before, it is super easy to care for and very hardy. It has stunning, narrow, variegated leaves with lighter green shades against darker green and a beautiful lemony coloured stripe through the centre of each leaf. It grows in a rosette-shaped formation and is really simple to care for. All you need to do is give it bright indirect light and water when the top inch of soil is dry. Next is the Aglaonema chartreuse pretty. Another rare type of aglaonema. This plant is native to Southeast Asia and is a tropical plant. This one has beautiful lime green, yellowy bright green shades, accented by the pretty pink salmon colours. Although this is one of the rarer aglaonemas, it is super easy to care for and super adaptable too. This one has wider leaves with a kind of a gentle ruffle along the edges. Next is the Aglaonema White Joy. This is another rare variety of the Aglaonema family, and it features broad-shaped leaves that grow out into gently pointed tips. The leaves are almost pure white with these beautiful kind of random speckles of green. Each of its leaves are trimmed in a margin of green, setting off the creamy white main colouring. I personally own this plant and it is just as easy to care for as all of the other aglaonemas. Unlike some other white plants, this one never suffers with browning or crispy bits. This one produces unremarkable white flowers, and most aglaonemas seem to have a similar kind of flower. You can choose to cut these off if you'd prefer your plant to direct its energy into creating more leaves. Next is the Aglaonema Silver Queen. This is another one that I personally own myself. This is another rare yet super easy to care for aglaonema. This plant has gorgeous silvery variegation. It does prefer bright indirect light, but you will want to avoid direct sun as this could burn the leaves. I've had this one for a while now and it's grown really well for me. Mine is flowering at the moment. Most aglaonemas do seem to flower quite frequently in my experience. And just a little tip, when buying an aglaonema, try and pick one that has more than one plant in the pot. As many plants as possible, because these plants really do look nice and full when there are more than one plant in the pot. You could also buy more than one and just pop them up together as well. This will just give you a much fuller, lusher plant that is more satisfying to look at. Next is the Aglaonema Red Joy. As you can see, this aglaonema boasts a strong red, bright colour. It's very striking and will definitely draw the eye. The leaves on this one have a lovely heart-shaped vibe, perfect for Valentine's Day maybe. And the colour on this one is really stable, so whether you give it bright indirect light or medium light, it's still going to keep that vibrant red colour. Next is the Aglaonema Salmon Fantasy. This is another rare aglaonema that also grows in a rosette formation. The leaves have beautiful variegation with shades of light green, yellow and dark green. It has beautiful salmon pink veination and margins. Despite how exotic this one looks, it's also super hardy and very easy to care for. This makes it a great choice for beginners. Next is the Aglaonema Crimson Love. This aglaonema has beautiful variegated foliage with green, pink and red shades. This plant is the perfect choice if you are looking for something colourful to brighten up your home. If you're a collector of aglaonemas, try displaying them all together for a really eye-popping display. And just a few general care tips for aglaonemas. When it comes to lighting, all aglaonemas are absolutely fine with either medium light or bright indirect light. They are also low light tolerant, but just be aware that if you put your plant in low light, it's likely to grow much slower. And it probably won't be at its optimum health, so I'd recommend at least medium light. They do grow, they thrive pretty well, I've found, in medium light. Bright indirect light too, you'll notice plenty of new leaves when you give them enough light. But always make sure to avoid direct sun as these are prone to burning. When it comes to watering, the advice is really simple. All aglaonemas basically like to dry out just about the top inch of soil, and when the top inch is dry, then go ahead and give it a water. Just make sure you don't waterlog the plant. Make sure you're letting that topsoil dry out before you water your plant. You can fertilise your plant whilst it's growing, and also, as I mentioned before, you can also prune off the flowers if you'd prefer the plant to direct its energy to growing leaves. When it comes to soil, just use a well-draining tropical houseplant soil. It should just contain adequate drainage materials, things like perlite, pumice, orchid bark. Which aglaonemas do you currently own, or which would you like to add to your collection? Do let me know in the comments, and until next time guys, look after your plants and look after yourself.